Hi, I'm Doug Dvorak, and I'd like to thank you for considering me as your speaker or trainer for your upcoming event. Let me start by telling you a little bit about me. I've been a professional speaker for 17 years and I've presented to over 1 million people in more than 100 countries. I'm also a master certified sales coach and trainer. However, one of my proudest moments came in 2015 when I was inducted into the Motivational Speakers Hall of Fame. Others in the hall include Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, and fellow motivational speaker and performance coach Tony Robbins. I'm also an active member of the National Speakers Association and hold its highest designation of Certified Speaking Professional. Okay, that's enough about me. Now I'd like to tell you what you can expect if you decide to hire me. In preparation for my highly customized presentations, I pride myself on conducting exhaustive research on each client's company and industry. A good example of how I will get to know you and your company is through my pre-programmed questionnaire. By using it to conduct in-depth Zoom interviews with key stakeholders, I will gain an insider's view of your organization. Then I'll create a 60-second video introducing me, my topics, key learning objectives, and takeaways that you can send to the attendees in advance of my presentation. In addition to helping everyone come prepared, this helps create excitement and piques their interests. For insights into my speaking style, plus the depth and quality of my customized content, please watch the remainder of this video and please share it with your team. I trust you will enjoy the video and find it informative as you continue your search for the right speaker for your event. Thank you, and I look forward to scheduling a pre-event Zoom meeting to understand the specific details of your event so I can create an impactful, fun, and deep educational learning experience for you and your team. Carpe diem.
Doug's presentation was incredible.
He brought the energy.
Motivational,
Inspiring.
energizing.
Knowledge.
The room was on their feet in excitement.
He's friendly, fun.
Great time with Doug today.
He brings smiles to everybody's face, and I can't wait to see him again.
We highly recommend him. He was excellent to work with, and his messages were very valuable.
Hey guys, Charlie here. I wanted to shoot a quick testimonial for Doug. Can't say enough about him. He came in last minute on a flight to come speak to our sales organization. He was professional. His communication skills are amazing, and he really helped bring our sales team together with actionable items to take us not just over the 10 million mark that we just hit, but upwards of 20 and 25 million. So Doug was amazing. I can't recommend him enough.
Literally showing up here with a 2 days notice and performing for hours and then hanging out with the team and really building us together. And so I really appreciate that. Thanks, Doug.
Takeaways from today: the energy, the focus, the enjoyment, the total engagement. Couldn't be pleased more. Fantastic day. Big thanks to you, Doug. Appreciate it.
Doug was great. He took the time to really get to know all of us and to engage with our group in a way that inspired us and allowed for open communication. And in that open communication, through what Doug was teaching us, we were able to unearth some really great ideas about sales and coaching and motivating and inspiring our teams that I know we're going to use to be incredibly successful. So go Doug. Good times.
Just spent a few hours with Doug and we had a good time, apparently.
I loved Doug's presentation. It was wonderful, energetic, uplifting. It was everything that we needed to hear right before we begin our new year under new leadership. So thank you, Doug.
Great presentation, Doug, and thank you so much for coming to the AMA Alliance annual meeting.
Very rarely do you have a group of people get that energized and that fired up about leadership and about management. Doug does a fantastic job of bringing the industry that you come from to bear and making it relevant and the content relevant and adjusting it to the audience. And I think they left out of here feeling energized, pumped up, and ready to go attack their business and grow. Just want to say thank you to Doug. And if you have an opportunity to work with him, I'd definitely take advantage of it.
Doug was an amazing presenter. What an amazing investment for any company or any individual.
Hi, I'm Chris Nagamutu. I'm Director of Vendor Relations here at CompTIA. We recently hired Doug and his team to deliver some sales training for us. Really got the team infused, really good humor, really got us thinking about what we need to do and what we need to change in our organization to be more successful. So highly recommend Doug.
Hi, I'm MJ Shore, Chief Community Officer with CompTIA. And I'd like to say a few words about Doug Dvorak and his Sales Coaching Institute. Doug was really able to come in and engage the team just so interactively. The best part for me was just watching everyone really be enthused and energized and engaged in the discussion and the conversation. And I saw a lot of light bulbs going off, which is exactly what we were hoping for. Can't thank Doug and his team enough. Really great experience. And certainly, obviously, I'm giving a nice, strong endorsement to Doug and the Sales Coaching Institute.
It's been about 2 years now since I trained with Doug Dvorak. What I really appreciated most about Doug's curriculum was that he took the time to really understand my goals, and he tailored our lessons around my specific needs. At the time, I'd taken a new position and was new to business development and sales. But now, what I find most incredible is that the lessons that Doug taught me now come naturally. I would definitely recommend Doug Dvorak to anyone looking for professional, one-on-one sales coaching.
At DMG International, my organization, we study motivation and how it impacts organizations and individuals. And that's what we're going to be talking about here today. Motivation, inspiration, but how we can lighten up in this industry that is changing so much. And that's what many of the senior leadership, the new officers have spoken to you about, change. Mach 5 with your hair on fire each and every day. Is it whitewater? You bet. Perpetual whitewater. But motivation is a key foundation to any successful individual or successful organization. We've studied motivation for decades. We've studied organizations, Fortune 500, Fortune 1000, and individuals. In fact, over 58,000 people have gone through our motivational training. And I want to share with you, distill that down to share with you where your own unique individual motivational style is. I'm going to show you 4 symbols. I want each and every one of you to identify with one symbol and one symbol only. When I shout out that symbol and you identify with that one, I want you to raise your hand. How many of you identify with the red starburst relative to motivation? Raise your hand. That's telling me that you're well organized and methodical. How many of you with the blue cube? That's telling us that you're bold and decisive relative to motivation. How many of you identify with the gray pyramid? Raise your hand. That's telling us you're obsessed with sex and booze. How many? He's raising his hand now. How many of you identify with the yellow cylinder? Raise your hand. Too late, the joke's over.
Now, $5.98. What does that mean to any one of you? May of 1998. If you're from Chicago right now, it's about the price of a gallon of gas. Or in Chicago, we have the Chicago Cubs. About September before the playoffs, it's their record, 5 wins and 98 losses. But in May of 1998, 3 things happened to me that rocked my world, turned it upside down, that challenged how I fundamentally viewed life.
My dad fell out of a 3rd floor window to his death. He didn't jump. I got sober for the first time. Had a very bad alcohol and cocaine problem. And then May 18th, 1998, 1:37 p.m., St. Alexis Hospital Complex in Hoffman Estates, Illinois, Doctors Building 2, Suite 515 at 1:37 p.m., Dr. Jeffrey Bacall's office. Doug, you've got cancer. And for me, when I was given the C word, my reaction was the big D word, that of denial. That happens to someone else. That can't happen to me. I was a highly charged and focused sales and marketing executive in the information technology space. Had enjoyed great career success, great financial success. In fact, the trajectory of my life was on that hedonistic treadmill, acquiring more stuff. He who dies with the most toys wins. And I realized at that point in time, May 18th, at 1:37 p.m., I had to make some changes at a very guttural level eventually. First and foremost, I had to suit up and show up and deal with this cancer. I was so focused. I had a 5-year plan, a 3-year plan, a 1-year plan, a 3-month plan, a 1-month plan, a weekly plan, a daily plan, a minute, an hour by hour plan. But when you're given the death sentence of cancer, you recognize that tomorrow is promised to no one. So I got involved, actively involved in my care plan. And I got involved in a cancer survivors group, ladies and gentlemen. Made the most deepest, meaningful relationships outside of my family that I ever had. Shared this challenge, this journey with some other much braver individuals. Not everyone survived. But in this cancer survivor group that was being studied by some PhDs and MDs for the benefit of a cancer survivors group, we found out a number of things. That the factors cancer survivors cite in preventing a recurrence, 4% of the time you needed to be lucky. 5% of the time you don't know. You got to roll the dice and take a chance 11% of the time on complementary therapies. You got to get outside of yourself, that sea of me, and quit being an eye doctor. I, me. Get outside of yourself. Connect with something greater or larger, however you define it. Maybe it's your place of worship, your mosque, your synagogue, your church, humanity, the environment, your family, giving something back. The most important thing for me was to get outside of myself, that sea of me. Reduce stress, exercise to the best of our ability, live a more healthy lifestyle, watch what I put in my mind and my mouth. But 60% of the time, we found that a positive attitude in concert with a great healthcare team can help you to overcome cancer. It certainly did for me. I want to ask you this question. How many of you have a refrigerator at home? And in that refrigerator, you've got milk and dairy products with an expiration date. I believe if you don't take enough risk, just like when those meat and dairy products go beyond that expiration date, they spoil. You'd never eat them because you'd get sick. You throw them out. I believe if we don't take enough risk, those opportunities are perishable like meat or dairy products. They have an expiration date. I had a chance. I was asked the morning of to go on this microflight. Was I scared? You bet. Did I have butterflies? You bet. But I wanted those butterflies to fly in formation. So I went with my German pilot, Hans. That's me.
If you had a close-up of me, you would see that my hands and fingernails are permanently impaled in the side handles. Was I scared? You bet. The one thing I didn't have that I wish I had, adult diapers, depends.
I always wanted to climb Mount Everest, 29,000 feet, but then my world was rocked with cancer, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. Hundreds of thousands of dollars paid out to get better. So I did the next best thing. I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, 19,340 feet. And I don't share that to stroke my ego, to be braggadocious. I share that because I believe each and every one of you has gone through a 598 in some way, shape, or form. And you may want to climb Everest, but then life gets in the way, and maybe you need to do the second best thing, which is climb your Mount Kilimanjaro, however you define it. How many of you know or have heard of Best Buddies? It's a great organization that pairs quote-unquote normies like us with really cool or special young people in grade schools, but primarily in high schools and colleges, to create best buddy relationships. I served on the Illinois board for a couple of years, and I met Jeffrey Douglas. You see, Jeffrey suffers from Fragile X syndrome, a chromosomal disorder that affects how he lives, thinks, processes, eats, etc. His parents, Deb and Drex Douglas, have been wonderful parents. They've given him every opportunity that they can afford. And each and every year I carve out about a week out of my busy schedule to do one-on-one guy time with Jeffrey. Last year we went on a one-week backpacking trip in and around Vail, Colorado, to the 10th Mountain Division hut system. And this is a picture taken on the last day of our trip, 20 to 30 miles each and every day with a 40 to 50 pound backpack. I'm forcing a grimace for this picture, and Jeffrey's smiling. Jeffrey's always smiling. I wish I had what Jeffrey had, how he sees the world, how he interprets, how he reacts with people. And on that last day, I took this picture of a grove of aspens. This is one of the world's largest living organisms. One root system connects all these aspens. If one insect, a beetle, were to bore into one of these trees with a disease, it has the ability to kill all of them. The same is true of us. We're not just Americans, members of NAMS, live in Illinois, Chicago. We're all humans connected in this sea of humanity. So for your organization, for your company, One bad attitude can spoil the bunch, because we all are interconnected, just like this grove of aspens. And I loved what Lincoln said. Whatever you are, be a good one. Because most people think all the competition for business and personal success is up here. It's all down here. It's people suiting up and showing up, giving 80, 85, 90, even 99%. Because at the end of the day, you're not simply in the default services industry, the restoration business, fixing a toilet. Each and every one of you, regardless of the title on your business card or moniker that you hold within your organization, you are the CEO. You're the Chief Everything Officer. You're the Chief Enthusiasm Officer. And you're the Chief Executive of Optimism. It's incumbent to you, if you're a leader or regardless of your position in the organization or in the community. The quality of your life is directly proportional to the commitment of excellence you make in your chosen field of endeavor. Suit up and show up with excellence. Give that 100%. Live a good, honorable life. Then when you get older and think back, you'll be able to enjoy it a second time. Because ultimately, you decide. And remember to have more fun out there. Because if you don't have more fun, this could happen to you.
There once was a man who never romped nor played.
He never smoked, he never drank, nor even kissed a maid.
And when he upped and passed away, insurance was denied.
For since he never lived, they claimed he never died. Thank you. Happy anniversary, man.